you started off as a nurse,
Mhm.
and now you are here with the world authority in our industry when it comes to email. So tell us a little bit about that journey, please.
Sure, because it's hard to draw a dotted line between she's a nurse and she
Yeah.
does email, right? I mean, I've been a nurse for over 24 years. And the thing I loved about nursing, that I still love about nursing just as a general career, is that it's about taking care of people. And so as I moved through my nursing career and I moved into fields like clinical IT informatics, there's fun one, right?
Mhm.
Rolling out electronic medical records across large healthcare organizations, basically, and I was project managing those. And talk about full nerd. That's it right there. But it was really looking out for the people that worked the floor, all the different roles that were involved in patient care, and also the patients themselves, making sure that we were taking excellent care of the patients in the transition to electronic medical records, right? And that was a really rough time for a lot of people in the medical space. But I moved into that because I realized that I could help more people or I could help people more, which is sort of my criteria for any time I make I pivot in what I'm doing. Um, so I knew that I could help more people by moving into that phase of my career. And then from there, I moved into doing consulting, and I learned really quickly that even though you have the title consultant, it's not really a good idea to just walk into some place you've been hired to be a consultant for and just start telling them what to do, even though I have done it many, many times. And I knew what was best in my mind. Right. But the reality is, they'll take your opinion and then they'll blame you for every little thing that doesn't go right. So I learned really quick that consulting was really more about sales and marketing. And if I could, be in rooms with C suite people and have these discussions where they were basically telling me they wanted me to tell them what to do, and I could move through those conversations in a way where I didn't tell them what to do. I got them to decide what they wanted to do. I basically got them to do what I needed them to do, but it was their idea. So that meant that it was also their result. And they could own that and they could be proud of it and they could also shepherd it and protect it and all of the things that we needed them to do. Right. So I learned sales and marketing by moving into consulting in that arena. And then um, during that time, I realized that there were a lot of medical practitioners that I was working with that were, on side conversations. They would complain about the marketer they were working with or their Facebook ads or whatever. And so it turned into, let me help you with that. So I started learning a lot about just basic marketing stuff and started helping practitioners. And long story short, they all have email lists. And I learned pretty quickly that, there's a lot of nuances to getting a medical practitioner's email list and
Mhm.
wielding it not just well, but compliantly, if that makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of like regulations around all of that. And then on top of that, there were a lot of marketers who just didn't know how to do that or didn't want to take that on. And so I found this little spot, this little blue ocean that was like, hey, if I can figure this out and I can do it really, really well, then I kind of have a fantastic avenue into any of these medical providers, businesses that a lot of marketers really can't tap into the way that I knew I could. And so I learned how to do email marketing really well. And honestly, there were a lot of fingers pointed in my face during that transition of me learning because there were a lot of times where I was doing things and it wasn't going well. Or I'd make mistakes or I would try something and it's like that's not the result we were after, or just frankly we just weren't getting results, right? So it was school of hard knocks all the way through, but I figured that out. So that's that's the transition, from nursing over to email, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if, I mean, is this a place that you like working in with email, or do you foresee a transition into some new evolution of work sometime in the future?
Honestly, I used to think I had some level of control over that. It's not like I woke up one morning and I said, "Oh man, I'm going to be an email person. I'm going to be an expert at email deliverability and marketing." I didn't wake up thinking that. What actually happened was I was going down a path of doing what I wanted to do. It was still marketing, but like I was going down a path and all of this email stuff kept coming at me. It's like, I was constantly being pulled over into this email space. And then other marketers started to figure out that I, you know, had figured out the email thing. And so they would come to me and they would say, hey, can you help me with mine? And then I would do it. And next thing I know, there's people they're sending, oh, you need to talk to Krystin. And then I'm just helping all these people for free, which is great. I love helping people. And I realized my revenue was going down and all my time was still being taken
Mhm.
up. Right.
Mhm.
So I just got to this place where it was like, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe my plan isn't the plan, right? Maybe God has a plan for me here that is not my plan, and maybe I should pay attention to that. So I just started embracing the weirdness of going into that space and being called weird things like the email whisperer and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, all right, we're going to make a run for this.